Hello, Scentsy World. You are joining us live for our second Glow Sisters in Scent Firefly Chats talk show. And we are so excited to be joining you for our second show. I want to take a second and introduce all of my fabulous co-hosts. So first we've got the Christina Stainbrook of the Fresh Scents of Smell Air. How are you doing tonight, Christina?
I'm okay, thanks.
Good. Next, we have the fabulous Dawn Rust, or as many of you know her, Spice Dawn.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing good.
You look nice and red tonight. I like it. Very spicy. Next, we have Jamie Sullins.
Hey guys.
Aha moment inspiration.
Aha.
Jamie's with Team Scent Therapy. How are you doing today, Jamie?
I'm good. Glad I scooted in the door just in time to hop on.
Yeah, we are too. And then, of course, last but not least is Edie Ann with Team Positive Scents. How are you, Edie?
I'm doing awesome. Yay. So happy about this show.
And I am Katie Varner, and I am going to be your, host for tonight. So we are super pumped to share with you what we have prepared this evening. Scentsy has had so many incredible things happening over this last month and a half. First, we had Join in June, which was a huge hit. I know all of you co-hosts had great Junes, and your teams really grew. And then fast forward to July, we had this amazing birthday bash sale with the discounted starter kit offering for July. So the next several weeks are sure to be equally as exciting, with the one incentive trip for the summer drawing to a close and the new incentive period starting in August. So lots of exciting things coming up, and then before we know it, it's going to be fall. We're going to be in the new catalog season in September before we know it. So we thought that tonight would be a perfect night to talk about our best recruiting practices. Really seems like the perfect time to focus on this subject because of the fact that we are wanting to push really hard over this last 3 weeks to close earning this incentive trip for the summer. And then, of course, we've got a new incentive trip to start working on in August. So it just seemed like the perfect time to talk about recruiting. So all the ladies have prepared some of their best recruiting practices to share with you all tonight. So I hope you're as excited as we are. I want to start things off with Jamie. So Jamie, will you go ahead and share your biggest, baddest recruiting tip?
Do I have to choose one?
Well, I think, so we could probably each talk for what, like 5 to 7 minutes or so and be good on our time window, right?
I think so.
So just kind of share what you think would be most important for people to know.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, instead of me just reiterating something I've already said and that is out there, any one of you watching this that is already a Scentsy consultant, you've heard Katie talk about when she heard me speak the first time in Fort Worth at, I believe it was 4 or 5 years ago, in Fort Worth at Scentsy Convention, I talked about recruiting your hostess, and I'm still really passionate that that is one of the best recruits that you will ever find is a hostess that you already have. So let me tell you where to find that, and it's on, if you go on your workstation at the very top, there's something that says Training Center, so click on that, and then there's an option that says, I think it says Review Past Trainings or something like that, and then there's something to click that says Past Conventions, so then if you'll click on Fort Worth, you'll see those listed, and you'll see I think turning hostesses into team members or something like that is what it's titled. So I'm still really passionate about recruiting your hostess. And something that I talk about in that speech, but more than anything, if I had to pick one thing, what I would tell people to remember is the word tiny. And I didn't make this up. I stole it from Jacqueline Roy, who's my sponsor. She taught me this. And the word is tiny, T-I-N-Y, and it stands for their interest, not yours. So I know so many of us get hung up on that we want to build a team. We want a recruit. We need this many recruits to earn the trip. We need this many people to certify to earn the trip. And that's great. That is what establishes goals. But nobody is going to join your team because you want them to or because you need them to. They're going to do it because of what's in it for them. So that's why the word tiny, their interest, not yours. Take some time to get to know people and figure out what their interests are. Do they have a daughter that is always at dance functions and, you know, has insane costume budgets that they have to pay for? Do they have a son that's in baseball and they're out of town at tournaments all the time? Or maybe they just really like to shop and they want some extra money to go to the mall. So figure out whatever is it for them. What does it for them? What gets them excited? And that's what you need to focus on, how Scentsy can get that for them. So the ones that I mentioned, you know, dance and baseball and just shopping money, to me, those are kind of like little things. Even though budgets for dance can be really huge, that's still kind of a little thing. And if you watched our opener last month, our first episode, I talked about my passion of mission work. So you might come across some people that their passion is something huge and it's worldwide. And so just remember that Scentsy can be as little or as big as people want it to be. They can be hobbyists, and it's okay to have hobbyists on your team. You need lots of hobbyists on your team that just want to work a little bit for some shopping money. But what you really want to look for is people with big vision and big dreams and big, huge things. So my mission is to build a legacy within my Scentsy team so I can move out of the country and be making money here to fund work outside of the country. But here's the deal. It didn't start that way for me. For me, it started with shopping money. It started with buying shoes. So somebody found that little thing. Well, actually, they didn't find it because I was a self-starter and a self-recruiter. But my passion started as something little bitty, as something as simple as shoes, and it's grown over time. So look for all spectrums of that. Don't focus on one exact thing, but just focus on whatever's important to them.
I think that's really, really, really great advice, absolutely. And another way that I kind of word the same thing that Jamie talked about with the tiny thing is it's like finding their gap. You know, their gap is the distance between what their life looks like today or the person they are today and what they want their life to look like tomorrow or where they want to be tomorrow. It's really kind of the same thing. It's our job to discover that. It's our job to ask those questions and be a good listener, like Jamie was talking about, to make it relative to them.
And ask those open-ended questions.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you hear a lot, ladies, I'm sure you guys hear a lot how people will say, oh, I'm afraid to recruit because I don't want to sound like it's all about me. And I'm sure you tell them the same advice that I do. You won't sound like it's about you if you focus on tiny, if you focus on their gap. Make it about them, and then no one's ever going to feel like, oh, she just wants to recruit me for her own interests. So I think that was great, Jamie. Awesome. Okay, so let's jump over to Dawn.
Well, what I find is I do develop some pretty good relationships with my hostesses and my basket party gals. I have lots of girls who will run a perpetual basket party, always collecting orders. And if you have someone who loves the product line and you see that she's really outstanding in something, then compliment her. I mean, do you realize that you can say, oh my goodness, look how organized you've kept your paperwork, and I love how you write that, you know, you've gotten it, you need it, this is ordered, you know, whatnot. You're fantastic at that. You're better than most consultants. So yay, can you give me some tips at how you know, develop these skills? Because a lot of women, they don't really get a lot of compliments in their life. When you think about it, I even look at my own life. Okay, now, this isn't about my current husband, Colin, who is wonderful, but I was married once before, and I got 2 compliments from that man in 13 years. One was that I put just the right amount of mustard on his sandwich, and the other one was I had this thing that I was going to get hit by a bus, and I said, "Would you remarry?" And he said, "I don't think I can find anybody that irritates me less than you do," which is a backhanded compliment. But a lot of women don't get compliments, and if you're the one that could show them that they have something to offer, look how you've written down these orders, look how you have made your calls and text to your friends and the cute little posts that you put on your Facebook event. I mean, that could be huge to someone. I mean, they can look like the happiest person in the world, but if they don't feel they have anything to offer and you show them that they might, that's a pathway to giving them happiness through
Providing them value.
working with, right, and helping them get that through Scentsy. So that's my little 2 cents. I mean, you can make them feel good, but these aren't hollow compliments. These have to be genuine, and a lot of people will open up to you if, you know, you validated their worth, and they're Scentsy addicts like us.
Yeah, I when you were saying that, it wasn't something that I had really. It goes to show that your life experiences make such a huge impact on how you see the world and your perspective of how things can influence other people. So, like, I've never even thought about it from that perspective, Dawn. So I really like that.
I know a lot of people just don't get the appreciation and see the value that they have.
Well, I think about it. I'm thinking of past parties of mine where I'd highlight my hostess's strengths. I'd say something like, "Oh, you so effortlessly share Scentsy. I can really see your passion," or, "Oh, you know, things like that." I thought, "Oh, yeah, I do. You know, I have done that," and it truly does make a big difference. It really, really, really is important. And also, not only are you magnifying their strengths and providing them value and making them feel great about themselves, but you're also strengthening that relationship that you have with them with the know, like, and trust that's so important for recruiting. So I think you're totally right on with that. I think that was awesome. All right, let's bump over to Christina now.
Yay! Gave me some time to be like, yo, what am I going to say? I think it comes down to this. Honestly, the recruiting advice, oh gosh, sorry. I'm like really struggling with my words today. My recruiting advice tends to stem from the 3 main values of Scentsy, which is simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. And I always tell my girls, you got to keep it simple. You can't make signing up for Scentsy sound like you're asking them to donate a kidney to you or donate like half their body's blood to you. Like, why are you making it such a huge deal, especially girls who just signed up and their best friend wants to join and they're like, I'm just not ready to recruit right now. I don't know enough myself. And I'm like, that's the perfect time to recruit. Like, recruit when you don't know anything because you're excited and they're excited, and that's the best time to do it. So keep it simple and just be yourself. And I have one girl who swears that you shouldn't recruit anybody until you know everything in and out and you've done so much of something yourself. And we kind of butt heads on this because I swear in the passion of your joining Scentsy is when you should be recruiting as fast as you can. Get that team building while you're excited. So keep it simple. Don't make it sound like it's a big deal. And if you think it's a big deal, then someone needs to talk you down because it's not a big deal. Scentsy is so easy and so simple. And if you're freaking out about all kinds of little things like how do I find this on my website or how do I do this at a party or how should I do a party, then you're missing the big picture of Scentsy, and people can feel that. So keep it simple. And then keep it authentic. Be yourself. Don't keep copying someone else's recruiting tips all the time, and don't copy their scripts, and don't go ask someone like, hey, I have this girl who wants to join Scentsy. What should I say to her? Say what you want to say. Make it come from your heart, okay? Because if you say to her what this girl would say, she knows it's not you. It sounds pitchy. It sounds salesperson-y. And again, you're not trying to get a kidney from this person. You literally just want them to sign up because you know how awesome it is. And it's not scary. And the more you make it sound scary, the more scared people are going to be to join. So keep it simple. Be yourself. Be authentic. Just be yourself. Seriously. I don't care if you don't have it all together. Show that. be yourself. Everybody, if they want to join under you, they want to join under you. They don't want to join under Katie telling you what to say to, like, they want to join under you. They want to join under you because they love you. They're your customer because they love you. So be yourself. And then generosity, I always tell them, hey, flip your parties, which all of you guys do. I don't care if you walk into her house and it's a $1,000 party and you have no idea where your PRV is coming for the rest of the month. That party is hers. Sorry about you, friend. You need to be giving everything away that you can. Give more than you take in every single situation, even if it's not something you perceived as a recruiting situation, even if it's just something like giving scent circles to your waiters or leaving scent circles on cars. I don't care what it is, just in any possible way that you can give a little more or give a little extra is going to drive people to you as well, because it's being yourself, being generous, making the opportunity simple. Do things that people can repeat. So, like I always tell my girls, make a party look like they could have done it themselves if you hadn't shown up. Like, make it feel like you didn't even have to be there, because it was so easy. You had a warmer, you had your testers. Like, if you only have your starter kit, that's enough. You don't have to take very much to a party. Make things replicatable. Keep it simple. So yeah, simplicity, authenticity, generosity. It's the easiest way to recruit. There's a reason there are core values, because we should be acting like it, we should be recruiting like it, and just living it all throughout whatever. So, and that's how you're going to attract people to you. You'll find that you don't actually have to go source people as often when you're living that way.
Oh, I think that was perfect. And I love, Christina and I were texting the other day because we both had 4th of July holiday weekend events, and we wanted to work the $49, amazing, $49 starter kit deal really hard at our events. And so we were texting about it, and I was like, she had, how many leads did you guys get, like, to follow up with?
Just our first day alone. I stopped counting after that. We had at least 6 people that wanted information on joining in our first day. And literally I might have seen 15 people that day. So it was so easy to bring it up to everybody, because you can find any way to squeeze it into a situation. Literally, one girl walks up and goes, oh my gosh, it's those Scentsy things. And I'm like, yeah, it's those Scentsy things. And she's like, I love these things. I'm like, oh, so you must be a consultant. And she goes, oh, no, I'm not a consultant. And I'm like, why not? It's only $49 to join this crap. And she's like, no way! Like, done. Recruiting conversation. Under my
You
card.
have to use the word crap when recruiting. Mandatory.
I may have said crap just because I'm just me. I'm like ridiculous at all times.
You're the perfect example of authenticity. I love it.
So, or one girl was like, oh my gosh, my mom is obsessed with this. She would freak out if she saw this tent. And I go, then why isn't your mom selling this stuff? And she goes, you know what? I don't really know. And I'm like, well, here you go. Here's my stuff. Give this to your mama. So really, just listen. Keep it simple. Don't make it sound like a big idea. Not in either of those situations did I terrify them, except for maybe with my intensity.
My excitement might have made them feel.
I'm just really excited. I'm so excited talking about it. So yeah, seriously, keep it simple. Don't go, you should join Scentsy. Then give them 1,000 other details. They didn't ask for those. Literally, $49. Scentsy rocks. You know it rocks. Done.
Mm-hmm.
So keep it simple.
Perfect. I love how you tied in the core values and what you shared. I think that was really great. I love it. Now let's pass things over to Edie.
Hi, okay. So I have a puppy that's not happy, so if you hear him crying, I'm really sorry.
Oh.
I think having the last say, well, Katie's going to get to go too, but having to hear all of these amazing ways to recruit just really solidifies for me what it is that I feel is the best tool, and that's yourself. And I think that people overlook the fact that, like one of you said, they're joining for you. They're not joining for somebody else. They're not joining for, they want to join under your team. And so it's important for us to really connect with them, find out the information about them that will actually help them. And so I'm kind of rambling a little bit because I'm so focused on everything that was said, and I feel like there's just most of that I could just hit ditto and be like, yeah, that's exactly why. You have to be authentic, you have to be real, don't make it harder than it is. But my key thing that I always tell people is don't sell the opportunity. Share the opportunity. And it's the same with the product. Don't try to sell it. If you're sharing it, it's because you love it. It's because you're passionate about it. And when people see that passion, they want that happy pill, right? Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be doing something that is bigger in this life. And when you can pinpoint that specific thing for an individual, and that's based on a conversation that you're having, then that's when you're going to be able to say, you know what, you should just join this. You should just be part of this. You know, if you want to travel, then let's travel together. If you want to make some money, then let's make some money together. And find out what it is. And I use this term often, and it's not visually appealing, but I tell people, don't vomit information. Don't overwhelm them with information, just like Christina said. Don't overwhelm them with information that they just don't care about. You know, if you're talking to somebody and they have a slight interest in joining, and all of a sudden you're talking about trips and making money and this and this and this, and none of that resonates with them, they're not going to join. They're going to run. They're going to be like, well, this is not for me. It's not fitting. So that's why it's really, really, really important to find out what it is. Like, you know, if you're having a conversation with somebody and they say, oh, you know, I'm just strapped right now. My child is playing hockey and it costs like $1,200 just for the equipment. There should be a light bulb that's going off in your head saying, you know what, I might have something that helps you with that. You know, if you need to earn some extra money for his hockey equipment, if you sold Scentsy, you might be able to get that money every month or during the season or whatever. And so you're connecting something that resonates with them specifically. And what it was in back in the day when I was doing, oh, now I can't even remember the name of the sales thing. Stephen Covey. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but Stephen Covey training. And basically it was to peel the onion. So it's the same as Tiny, it's the same as finding the gap, and peeling the onion is finding the pain within. When you can find the pain within somebody to try and heal them, then you can have an opportunity to share an opportunity with them. And so the only way that you can peel the onion is to ask questions. And every question you ask, you're peeling back that onion until you get to the core, which is ultimately wanting to meet people, wanting to travel, wanting to make more money, the fear of being alone. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can connect with somebody and find out how Scentsy fits for them. You know, and I find that very often I'll have consultants that will come to me and say, you know what, I've had so many people that they're sitting on the fence and they just don't want to fall off and go in one direction or the other. And I always tell them that the probable reason is because you vomited information on them. They don't know what they're supposed to pick out of it. They're not resonating with something, so they're just sitting there. And they can't figure out how Scentsy fits into their life. So it's really important to connect with them, find that pain, do the Tiny, find the gap, fill the gap, do, you know, all of those different things that we all have our different approach, but it's kind of the same thing. You know, it's based on building relationships. It's based on connecting with them. It's based on being real, letting them see your passion and excitement about something that's so overwhelmingly changing your life that you would be, and I've said this before, you'd be so selfish not to share it. You know, so that is, you know, I think when people say, well, Edie, how do you recruit? And I'm like, I don't know that there's any real key to it. Just be you know, and find out about that person and connect with them and let them understand and know that you really care about what they have, do, and want. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's pretty much where you all are.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was really great. I know it's hard going last because you feel like, what is there left to say that they did not cover so perfectly? I love everything everybody shared. I completely have a giant ditto right next to everything everyone shared. So I made some notes while people were talking of some things that kind of came to mind that I thought were kind of key points to hit home. So like what Edie focused on, it's so much about relationships. No one is going to want to join your team unless they know you, like you, and trust you. It's very rare that you're going to get someone to just randomly join your team, and that a lot of times tends to be someone who just wants the kid or what have you. Typically, someone who is wanting to have a business or even a hobby is going to want to know who they're signing up under. in most cases. So that relationship building is very, very important. So focus on that know, like, and trust. That's one of the reasons why social media is so important to me. Social media is a huge part of how I work my recruiting business. So every time I do a home party, anytime I do an event and I really connect with someone, every hostess that I have, I'm searching for them as on Facebook and adding them as my Facebook friends. So that way, it's a very easy way for them to see who I am as a person, see my brand, Katie Farner, Scentsy Consultant. They can see that and they can connect with that and follow my journey. And I found that that is a really great way to harness and continue building our relationship. And I really pay attention to who's liking my posts, who's following along on my journey, and I'll send them messages and I'll say, thank you so much for liking my post. I see that you are following along on my journey, and it means so much to me. You know, these are small ways. It might not seem like a very big act, but all of these small acts over time lead to relationship building. And I think that's really key to understand with recruiting is, like Edie said, I don't feel like there's some magic word where you can say like, oh, do this and you're going to get a lot of recruits. It really is a consistency thing. You've got to consistently plant these seeds. You know, they say that it takes they say that on average 1 in 10 people are going to say yes. So 9 of those 10 that you ask are going to say no. So if you know that, if you want to get 2 yeses a month, think about it. How many people do I have to talk to about the business opportunity? How many relationships do I have to plant? So you've got to do this work consistently. It's something that you should do every day. It needs to be part of your lifestyle, not something that you temporarily do during an incentive trip qualification period. Like a lot of people will say, oh, you know, August is coming, I need to start working on, you know, my recruiting. Well, you're going to feel those results at least 90 days after you start the work. So don't go in these cycles and don't get stuck in this pit where you've got to get that ball of momentum rolling again. It's much more challenging to do that than just keep slowly applying pressure to keep that ball rolling. So relationships are key. Part of that for me, I always tell my new recruits when I have someone, or I always tell my team members, when I have a potential recruit, like our 4th of July event we just had, I worked it with one of my frontline team leaders, Barbara Cemento, and she was talking with someone and she brought up the business opportunity in the $49 kit. And a really bad storm was rolling in, so they were having to wrap things up really quickly. So I immediately grabbed my notepad and said, what's your first name and what's your number? I'll have Barbara give you a call so you guys can talk more about this. That's always my go-to, and I encourage my team members to do the same thing. If you can get them on the phone, if you can meet up with them in person, that is where you're going to form your best relationships versus just emailing them to answer their questions or texting them to answer their questions. Some people prefer those communication methods. The potential recruit might prefer that communication method. So if that's ultimately what they really want, they don't want to get on the phone, of course I'll do that. But try to get on the phone with them, try to meet them in person, and you're going to really form a great relationship there. So those are kind of some of my key points that I wanted to hit home. So really pay attention to your social media. Add your people as friends on Facebook so they can follow you along your journey and really edify what you do. Edify this organization. Edify your job as a Scentsy consultant. If you don't love what you do and make it clear that you love what you do, why would someone else want to do it? Why would someone want to come and join your team if they see you're posting on Facebook about struggling to get bookings? Why would they ever want to join? They're going to be like, well, if she can't get bookings, I sure as heck can't get bookings. So really edify what you do, love what you do, and show it, and just live a lifestyle of being the Scentsy consultant that you are.
Hey, do you guys mind if I jump in with something?
No, because we've still got, it's only 9:33. We still have like 10 minutes.
It's 8:33, Katie.
Oh, well. You're on the East Coast.
I'm Central.
You're
well,
so central.
I'm so Central. I'm just the Southern girl. That was like Californian accent saying I was a Southern girl. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, what I wanted to say is I want you to think about, would you ever want food to just be lukewarm? The answer is probably no. You either want it cold, like ice cold, or you want it hot. Think about anything, like if you're getting a beverage, do you want a lukewarm coffee or a lukewarm iced tea? No, you want a cold iced tea or a hot coffee. And think about that in life. You usually only remember people that are hot or cold. So by cold, I mean like the negative Nellies, the people that are always, you remember those people because they're so stinking annoying. But you also remember the people that are hot. I mean, Christina even mentioned, maybe the only thing that would freak her out is my intensity. And Edie Ann said something about passion. That's what I mean when I say hot. And passion and intensity and being hot doesn't have to mean information overload. It's something that you can't even do. It's something that just happens. It is in you, and it does happen. Okay, my picture just went away. Can you guys still see me?
My picture went away. I can see you guys on the bottom, but not on the top.
Yeah.
I think if you click
Katie's
it, I think it's because Katie's gone, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you can hear me?
Someone tried to
Yeah.
call me on FaceTime, and they totally screwed everything up, and I can't get my camera to come back on.
Oh, no.
But we can hear all of you.
Okay.
So we can hear all of you.
Okay, so what I was saying is you want to be hot, you want to be on fire, but it's not something that you can do, it's just something that you are. So it comes out in how you say things, not what you say. So you can say, like, let's talk about the $49 special. You could be cold and be like, $49, why aren't they offering it for free? This other company over here does it for free. Okay, that's cold. Or you can be lukewarm, just in the middle, and be like, yeah, $49 is kind of like a really good deal. I've never seen them do that deal before, so it's definitely worth thinking about. Or you can say,
Jamie,
oh my gosh, it's only $49.
You guys, I'm not sure that we're actually live anymore.
It says live.
I just
says live.
It just said that on the thing. It just said that the glow was no longer presenting.
It still says stop broadcast in red, and it still says live, so I'm pretty sure we're live.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry.
It's all Caitlin Beria's fault. She tried to FaceTime me.
Thanks, Caitlin.
We love you, Caitlin, anyway.
See, this is why it's good that I was a kindergarten teacher, because I could be interrupted, and you guys, I'm just going to jump right back in.
No, go ahead.
No, I really was kind of done illustrating the point. Just have your passion show in how you say things, not what you say.
I want to add something too. One of the things when I first started with Scentsy, I tried to think of something that would help me to explain, because it was that question of, Edie, how do you get recruits and whatever, and I thought, you know what do I do? I talk Scentsy, I share Scentsy, and I live Scentsy. So having those three things, I mean, when I'm talking Scentsy, it's just all the time, because it's part of my lifestyle, it's part of what I do. I live it, I breathe it, and so therefore I talk it. And so then the sharing part, or the sharing and showing to me are the same thing, is branding yourself, making sure that you have something on that can identify you as a Scentsy consultant. And then, of course, living Scentsy is just having it incorporated and not finding balance with Scentsy in your life. There's no such thing as balance. Incorporate it into what you do, and it will happen. It will be part of who you are, just like when you are talking about a good cup of coffee. You're going to share a good cup of coffee because you enjoy it and you want others to enjoy it. So it's the same thing. If you're incorporating Scentsy in your life, you're going to share it. Yeah, that's all. And you can hear the puppy whining, so I'm going to mute myself out again.
Christina or Jamie, Christina or Dawn, do either one of you have any other points that you want to add? Because we still have a few minutes left. And I'm sorry that I'm just a talking bubble that says the glow. I cannot get my camera to come back no matter what I'm doing.
Her logo is super cute.
It is a cute logo.
And we remember your beautiful face, so don't worry.
I like that you're a little
Aw.
talking circle bubble. I don't have anything else to say, I don't think.
What
Sorry.
about you, Dawn?
Well, I liked what Jamie said about hot and cold. I sometimes, well, let's see, was it Colin that asked me when we first met on eHarmony? He said, "So, how are you at verbally expressing yourself?" And I told him that the last guy I dated said his ears were bleeding. Okay, so I guess if there's hot, I might be steaming because sometimes my enthusiasm is like way over the top. But that's obviously something that people can tolerate or don't mind with me. So I really like that hot and cold thing because there are people in my life that just suck the happiness right out of me. And that is no good. You want to be around people and be with people and attract people that want to be fun and happy. That's just a better place for me, at least. So I like your hot and cold analogy.
I learned that in church Sunday.
Yay.
Isn't that so cool? The other day when I was in church there, he was talking about how important it is to pay attention to who you surround yourself with, and people that you surround yourself will either sharpen you or dull you. And I was like, oh, that's so, like, it's so sensey too at the same time. I loved it. It's cool what you can pick up really just anywhere. Inspiration strikes anywhere.
Hmm.
I often turn sermons into team trainings.
Awesome.
I think recruiting is a conversation that I could talk about just for days and days and days nonstop. And something that really stuck with me when I was at Mastermind, I talk about Mastermind all the time. It's a network marketing conference. So you see companies there from, you see people representing lots of different network marketing companies. And the training is really diverse. You get a lot of great, great training. And there was a guy there. Sarah Robbins was there, which was really great to see and hear her. But there was someone there named Wes Linden, and very successful in network marketing. And he said something that really, really, really stuck with me that I want to share with you all too, because you might be watching this and maybe you've never recruited anyone. Maybe you're thinking about sponsoring your first person. Maybe you're thinking, okay, I like what Christina said. I'm not afraid. It isn't a big deal. I'm just going to go out there and go after my first recruit. Maybe you're watching this and thinking that. I want you to understand, you might be listening to us and thinking, oh, look at all these girls. These are all big shots. And what he said that really stuck with me is there's no such thing as big shots. Big shots are just little shots that keep on shooting. And I really, really loved that because, yeah, it's so true. I mean, I look at superstar directors and look at them and think, they're so inspiring. I wish that I could have that type of an impact, or whatever. And you forget that they're just a normal person too. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like I do, and they have been shooting longer. That's really the only difference. They have taken more shots than me. That's really, truly the only difference. There is no big shot. Everybody is just a little shot who just keeps on repeatedly shooting. And so kind of tying back into what I said earlier, consistency is truly, truly, truly important with recruiting. Don't ever stop. Someone in my team, one of my frontline leaders that I mentioned earlier, she has been working on recruiting hard for the last 3 months, and she has not gotten any recruits. It's been killing her. And then bam, the very first day of this $49 kit offer, she got 4 recruits in one day. 4 recruits in one day. It was that I just had chills when she kept messaging me every time, got another one. And it just goes to prove that your consistency is what's going to pay off. And I told her, just because you have these 4 recruits and you might feel overwhelmed training them right now, don't stop planting the seeds. we have to always be planting those seeds because we never know when they're going to develop. So if you consistently plant seeds, you will consistently sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and I need to add something because I learned, this was probably, I don't know, 3 years ago. They said that it takes 8 times to communicate with someone on average before they will commit to something. So based on conversations or, you know, whether it means that you've texted them or you've messaged them or you talked to them on the phone or maybe you've seen them face to face or they've come to some parties, it can take up to 8 interactions before someone will commit to joining. And that's just a statistic across the board for all direct sales. I think it was actually Heidi that told me that. So yeah, I mean, you could be 3 feet from gold, and if you've never seen that or read that book, you need to read that book, 3 feet from gold. Because you could be on number 6, having spoken with someone, and you give up. And all it would have taken was maybe 2 more times to really get to know that person and find out what their fear was. Because ultimately, the people that don't join right away, if there's something fearful that's holding them back, and it's up to you to find out what they're fearful of. Because once you find out what they're fearful of, it's really pretty easy to say, you know what, you're scared because you don't have a lot of friends and family. Well, guess what? If Walmart only sold to their friends and family, they'd be out of business. So you need to go outside of your friends and family, and then you can give them some ideas. So see how passionate I get about this?
Something that I would like to add to that, when Edie says it takes 8 times for them to commit, even like when you're making advertising buys with like radio stations and things like that, like there's a frequency. You need to have at least 3 per certain time segment based on, you know, whatever time segment you're purchasing in for them to even know that you exist, let alone want information and want to commit. So like I've always been a big fan of like learning your frequency rates, but you know, that's just goes along with what Edie said as far as, yeah, listen to that. She was right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I think I have taken a lot of notes here myself. I've picked up a lot of things from each of you girls that I really, really, really liked. And I hope all of you joining us tonight also were able to get some great notes and feel excited moving forward into the fall. Are you girls excited about the fall?
Yeah, I'm ridiculously.
Extremely.
I'm like, bring on
Like I have chills.
September.
I'm like excited about reunion because we're going to get some hints about the fall in about 2 weeks.
Yes, and some awesome news is coming about something new, right?
Yes. Reunion is going to be awesome, and we're all looking forward to seeing many of your faces there. So remember, we're just little shots that keep on shooting, right? We're all the same.
I love that.
So come and say hey to us if you see any one of us. I know I speak for everyone when I say we're happy to meet you and say hey and you know, just chat with our fellow Scentsy sisters. So if you see us, come say hey. Don't be shy. And we look forward to seeing you there. And then our next broadcast will be, does anyone know the date offhand?
Hang on, I've got my calendar right here. August 3rd.
Yep, August 3rd at 9:00 p.m. Mark your calendars, Glow fans, and we will be talking with you then. I don't know what our topic is going to be just yet, but I'm sure we're going to be filled with some serious Scentsy spirit because it'll be coming off a reunion.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be a little ridiculous, man.
Well, good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to share this video with your teams. Encourage your teams to join us next month, and we'll just keep on spreading the Scentsy spirit and the Scentsy love.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.